Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of Prisms and Cylinders. Today we're working on volume and surface area, but the surface area this time is also going to include prisms. So part 1 only included cylinders, just to get you used to cylinders, but now we're going to build in prisms. So volume again is a 3D space an object holds or takes up. It is labeled in cubic units, and surface area is just two-dimensional. You may call them nets. It's the area of all the surfaces combined. So you could technically find the area of each surface and add them all together, or you could use the surface area formula. And this is going to be the volume. So we're going to find the volume. Let me change pen colors here. Volume of this cylinder. So the base itself, I like using colored pencils or markers just so I can keep it straight. My base is a circle. So I need the formula for a circle, which is pi r squared. Pause the video and see if you can find the volume of the cylinder. Alright friends, let's rock this. When you found the big base, you had to look at the circle and look at the radius. The radius is 15, so I substitute that 15 into 3.14 times 15 squared, or 3.14 times 15 times 15, to get a base of 706 and 5/10 square feet. The height is deceptive. Its height is a number that you have not used yet, so height is 32 feet. And so when I plug that into the volume formula, the area of the base times the height, I got a final volume of 22,608 cubic feet. Remember this big B? We're going to use that again in the surface area formula. So in the surface area formula, we already found the big B, so now we're going to find the perimeter of the base. So I use the same face that I did before, but at this time perimeter. So my perimeter is going to be circumference, which is pi times d. Stop the video and see if you can find each piece before plugging it into the surface area formula. Alright, so I figured out all three pieces. Pause the video making sure you have all three pieces the same, and ask questions if you do not. The diameter I had to multiply by 2 or double because it was 15 halfway, so it'd be 30 all the way. Then I'm going to write down the surface area formula. Perimeter times height plus 2 area of the bases, because I have two bases, and then I have the perimeter around multiplied by the height to get all of my surfaces together. And the reason there's addition here is because I am adding all of my surfaces together. So I have my perimeter of 94.2 feet, multiplied by the height of 32, plus two bases, 2 times the bases, 706.5. Pause the video and see if you can answer it and label it correctly. Really big cylinder here. This has a surface area of 4,427 and 4/10 square feet. Now this is a new shape. If you check out the base, I always choose one that's easy to identify. I usually pick the bottom if I can, and you just have to make sure that it has two identical ones. There is one on the top and one on the bottom, so I can use that as my base. My base in this case is a parallelogram. So to find the area of a parallelogram, you do base times height. So my big B is going to be 17 times 11. Pause the video and see if you can find the volume on your own. Alright, here we go. When you did 17 times 11, you got the area of this base to be 187 square centimeters. The height is 12. It's a number that we have not used yet. So if I multiply those two things together, I will fill up this entire space, or get the volume of it, three-dimensional space, of 2,244 centimeters. I need to make sure I put a 3 for cubic. Whenever I see a V, it must have a 3. So keep this 187 in mind for finding the surface area of the exact same shape. We're just going to use 187 because we already found it. There's no need to do it again. You could just multiply 17 by 11 again, but in this case I have to remember that this was my base. So you have not seen a problem like this that has not been a circle. We're not going to use circumference for this because that wouldn't make sense because it's not a circle. To find the perimeter around a rectangle, you just add up all the sides. So my perimeter, I have 4 sides, so I'm going to add up 4 numbers. I have 17 and 11, another 17 because it's a parallelogram. Parallel sides, opposite sides are parallel, congruent. So I have 17 plus 11 plus 17 plus 11. Pause the video and see if you could find the surface area. So I got my perimeter to be 56 centimeters. So I'm going to plug that in for my perimeter. My height is a number I have not used yet, which is 12 centimeters. So I'm going to multiply that by my perimeter. Then I am going to add 2 bases. So 2 times the area of my base, which was 187. My final surface area is 1,046 centimeters, but whenever I see an A for area, I also have to put a 2 for squared. Awesome. Another problem. Whoa. Do you remember what this is called? The base, be careful, is not the rectangle because there are 3 of those. In a prism, you want to use a base if there are only 2 of the same, unless it's a cube, of course, because then they're all the same. But we're going to use this shape. It is a triangle. So big B, the area of the base, which is a triangle, is used using the formula 1/2 base times height. And when you're in a triangle, you always want to use the 2 sides that touch that 90-degree angle. So 12 and 9. 15 is not used unless I'm finding a perimeter, which I will do later. So the B is 1/2 of 12 times 9. Pause the video and see if you can find the volume labeling in correct units. I know you got this. Alright friends, when you got the base, you had 54 square inches. Now the height is again the number that hasn't been used. Now I know you haven't used a 15, but it has to be a number that's not in the base. So we're going to use a 22 so we can fill up this entire shape. So I multiply 54 by 22 to get the volume of 1,188 cubic inches. Now remember this big B because we're going to use it in surface area as well. So 54, stick that in your brain, and you're going to copy it down onto the surface area side. So that was 54 square inches. Now you go back and use this as your base. So if I wanted to find the perimeter, I'd ask myself, shape is a triangle. So how many sides would I have to add up to find the perimeter of a triangle? You say self, 3. So I got the 9 and I got the 12 pretty easily because they're labeled. But then this one here, the hypotenuse, the line, the one that's adjacent from the 90-degree angle, catty corner, whatever you want to say, the hypotenuse is the longest leg of the triangle. That is seen on the other side, and these are congruent, so you can use that as well, to be 15. Now you can add these numbers in any order. You can use a calculator if you'd like. That to me does not matter. It's that you know how to find it. So 9 plus 12 plus 15 gets you 36 inches for your perimeter. You already found big B. The height is a number that you haven't used. You also use it to find the volume of 22 inches. So substitute it into the surface area formula of perimeter multiplied by height plus 2 times big B. Pause the video and see if you have the label right as well. So you did 36 times 22 plus 2 times 54. The addition and the times signs are really key here because if you don't do those correctly or you think it's a decimal, your answer is going to be way different. When you did all that work, you might as well get it right. You get an answer of 900 inches. Got to make sure you square it because you have a capital A for area. Surface area is indeed area, all the areas combined. Now here's another way you could do this. You could find the area of this triangle plus the area of this triangle plus this face, it's a rectangle, plus the area of this face, plus the area of this face, and add it all together. Or you could just use the surface area formula for a prism and you'll be golden. Now this one here, remember what to call that? That's a cube, my friends. It's really nice and easy to work with because all the lengths are the same. So your base, in this case, is a parallelogram. Or a square if you want because the sides are the same. So to figure out the area of that, you just take each side and multiply by itself. Pause the video and see if you can find the volume. Thank you. Alright, here we go. We did 14 by 14 to get big B, the base. That's 196 square meters. The height is a number that we didn't use. Well, we technically did use it because it was 14 and that's a cube. But the height is 14, so we multiply that by 14. We get a final answer of 2,744 meters cubed. Whenever you have a V, you must cube it. Put a 3. Keep this base, big base. The area of the base is 196 because we use it also in finding the surface area. So we said the big base was 196 and it's meters, so square meters. The height is 14 meters because it's a cube. Now we need to find the perimeter. The perimeter is a distance around the base. So 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14. Another way to do it when you're working with a cube, since we're adding it 4 different times, is just to do 14 times 4. You could add it 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14 if you'd like. You get the same answer of 56 meters. Now pause the video and put those numbers into the surface area formula. make sure you're showing substitution and make sure you have your multiplication symbols and your addition symbol. So check yourself. Did you get a total surface area of 1,176 square meters? Awesome. If you didn't, please make sure you're asking for help. All right. I'm going to go quicker here. Just pause the video, see if you can rock this volume. Okay, so you get a volume of 1,854.5625 cubic centimeters. That's the answer I would prefer, but if you wanted to round it, you could get 1,854.6 centimeters cubed. Just make sure if you're rounding that you're putting the approximate symbol, because that shows that it's not an exact answer and that you did in fact round. We're going to use the same base before. It was 176.625 centimeters squared. Pause the video, see if you can do this all on your own. So the height was 10.5 centimeters. To find the perimeter, you took circumference times diameter. So to find the diameter, you had to double your radius. 7.5 times 2, or 7.5 plus 7.5 to get 15. Your perimeter, 47.1. Plug it in the formula, you get the surface area of 847 and 8/10 square centimeters. This is the last one we will be doing, so I'd like you to pause the video and make sure you identify the correct base. The bases are the same, so you have to have two shapes exactly the same, and you're going to want to use the sides for the triangle that meet at the 90-degree angles. Alright, so it was a triangle, so you had to take 1/2 times the base times the height, and you always want to use the two sides that touch 90 degrees, so you did 1/2 times 12 times 5. Half of 12 is 6, times 5 is 60 meters squared. The height is the 3 meters, so when you multiply those two numbers together, you get 180. Let's remember this bad boy, big base is 60, so when we're finding the surface area, the big base we already found to be 60 meters squared. The perimeter is going to be found by adding the three side lengths of this triangle, so 13 plus 12 plus 5. Pause the video and rock this. If you do this problem, then you're definitely ready to start on your own. The perimeter was 13 plus 12 plus 5, because that's the distance around the base. The perimeter was 30, multiplied by the height of 3. Add 2 of the area of the bases, and then you get the total surface area of 210 square meters. If you said, yep, I got this, you definitely do have this. Go ahead and start your work. If you had a nope, then there's some more problems that you can try. So don't feel bad if you're either way. Just do what you need to do to be successful. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to show all your formulas and your substitutions in your work. Remember all those labels. They're important, and if you need help, please, please ask. Thanks for being here, guys. Arrivederci.